Jocko, have you worked with anyone who led from an emotional or unbalanced place but learned to detach? And what helped them?
Well, when I was putting these questions together, obviously here's one where you also have to use a little disarm movement to get someone that's getting emotional about something. You got to get them to calm down. So you don't reciprocate the emotion. Don't coach people when they're angry or emotional. That's not the time to say, hey, you know what you need to do right now is you need to calm down.
Chill
no,
out.
that doesn't work out. That doesn't work. Actually, Leif was telling that story on the last podcast where he was losing his temper about something, and I just stood there and said, kind of smiled and said, I didn't reciprocate the anger. I said, hey, take it easy. Don't worry about it. Let's just think about it. Can you make this happen? And he's like, yeah, I can, of course. I had one of my senior enlisted advisors, actually my first deployment to Iraq, and he and I were old school Team 1 guys, and one of my favorite guys in the world, actually. But he would sometimes get a little bit emotional, a little bit, and he had this tactic that I picked up from him that I understood the way he addressed conflict was, and I broke it down for him eventually, was simplify, amplify, and repeat. That's what he would do. And it actually worked. It worked a lot of the time on most people. And so, like, for instance, if I said, hey, I want to take a couple more guys on this operation. And if he didn't think I needed more guys for an operation, he'd say, well, why don't you just take everyone in the compound? I'll tell you what, just take every person on the roster. That'll give you enough people then. We'll take everyone. I'll start rounding everyone up. Right now, we'll take every single person that we have out there, and I'll even grab some Army guys on the way. That was his way. Yeah. And I'd be like, no, man, no. But what I wouldn't do is I wouldn't get defensive. I wouldn't get fired up. And I would say, hey, no, I'm not saying I need everybody. I'm just saying I want to take 3 more guys. There's some spaces in the vehicles. It'll give us a little more ability to contain the target. And we'd look at I'd say, look, take a look at the map. And so then he'd calm down. Yep. And in this guy's case, he actually wasn't like too emotional. He was just super passionate. And when I actually broke down the simplify, amplify, and intensify, oh no, it was simplify, amplify, and repeat. That's what you do. Simplify, amplify, and repeat. Whenever we would start getting a discussion and he would start doing it, we would start laughing because he realized that that's exactly what he was doing.
So the simplify, amplify, repeat, that's what the name you put on his little
that was
thing
his
that
methodology.
Yeah.
If you said, like I said, if I said, hey, I need a couple more guys, he would say, well, we'll just take everyone then. If that's what you need, you need every single guy. He would simplify what you said. He would amplify it and make it more extreme, and he would just repeat it over and over again. Yep. And most people that he did it to, they would feel stupid because of what he did to them. He'd say, well, no, I don't need, I'm not, they would just feel stupid, and he'd say, so just, that's ridiculous, and he'd win. But we would laugh about it. But like I said, he wasn't actually too emotional. He was just fired up about stuff, which is a positive thing. But someone that is actually too emotional, so like I said, you got to stay calm. You don't coach people when they're angry. You set a good example. And then when people calm down later, you talk to them about, like, hey man, that wasn't cool. And you gotta spin it, right? Because you don't want to like literally coach. Because if I say, Echo, I need to coach you on something, then you're defensive and all that. Right. But if I say, hey man, I rely on you because of your expertise, and I think you're the only guy in the platoon that can actually make this happen. So if you're losing your temper, man, that doesn't, all of a sudden I can't count on you, and I need you. Because you don't make good, none of us make good decisions if we're all bent out of shape on something. So I gotta, please, can you help me by just, hey man, if you start getting angry about something, just realize it's going to affect your decision making, and we can't have that, man. We need to make the good decisions. People are counting on us. And that's how I'm handling someone that gets emotional about stuff.
Yeah, that's what it's some simplify, repeat one. Girl,
Simplify, amplify, and repeat.
I'm not gonna say all girls do this, but some wives might do. Like you said,
some wives with the last name Charles.
You know, it ultimately, I think if you're in a good relationship, you don't really take it that seriously.
Right.
But yeah, you say like, I don't know, hey, you said something mean to me or whatever, and they'll be like, well, then why'd you marry me then? Why don't you just they take it to that next level.
Simplify, amplify, and repeat.
Yeah, or
watch out for that one.
Or hey, go to this one time, long time ago when we first got together. She said she wanted me to get orange juice. I went to the store. I was going to the store. Wanted me to get orange juice for whatever reason. I forgot the orange juice. I didn't choose not to get the orange juice. Just forgot. You come home, forget the orange juice. She said something along the lines of, "Does anything I say have any importance to you at all?" That's what that is, right?
Simplify, amplify.
Yeah.
And all she needs to do is say it more than once, and you got the repeat as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess to answer that question, no. Yeah, most things are pretty important. I mean, maybe not the orange juice. At that moment, I forgot. Another tactic, like when you talk to people, like to calm them down or whatever, like let's say they lose their temper all the time or something like that, and you have to address like them losing their temper. Be like, hey, you know how you use the word passionate is basically like an excuse word for someone being like, when people are like, I'm just passionate. Yeah, I'm passionate.
No, bro, it can be a euphemism.
Well, here's the thing. Being passionate and being emotional are two different things, because you can be passionate about something and not lose your temper and not being emotional. They're two different things. So people will be like, they'll put that on, and so it sounds kind of acceptable. It's simply not true. But so but you can use that to your advantage. You can be like, hey, I know you're passionate. I dig it, man. It's one of the things I like about you. And another thing that I like about you is that you're also a thinker. That's why. Boom, then you say what to do. That's what you do.
Go with the ninja mind tricks. I like
the key line there is, that's what I like about you, or what I like about you is this, and then they kind of take on that role.
Yeah, for sure. You're disarming them.
Yeah. Disarming them. There you go.
Very good. Very good.